Hello everyone! Welcome to the Nordic RTA support with me, Runos, bringing you yet another Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever cast. And I gotta say now, thank you to ITER for sending me this replay. As you can see, he's in actually the replay itself. He promised me this would be a good one, so I take your word for it, noble sire. I just sped through it on 10 plus to see if there was any these things, and luckily so far there was none. So we shall have to see what it is. And now I'm gonna try something new today and not go down to -10 when introducing the team. So let's get on with it. Let's see down here though. We have White Owl going as our first player in Seraphim, lovely blue, and he's going first land and a second land planned already. Now then, down here on the southern part of the map, we have ITER, as he said, at least that's how he wanted me to pronounce it, instead of ITER. ITER. Anyway, he's going on first land in a lovely, lovely blood red. So it looks, from all intents and purposes, that this is a ladder match. So far it's going to be very interesting to see, because this is on Ambush Pass. Basically, there's a lot of buildings set as its neutrals and a lot of autoguns, and they will provide quite a bit of a nuisance if one are not too careful, because these guns can fire at your own units or your commander and even take him out. Whoops, that was wrong, not 10 plus. We're going to plus things up to speed 2 here, because let's face it, in the beginning things can get rather tedious as each player tries to build up the bases, and I don't have that much time today. Anyway, I kind of like had this like a moment of epiphany when I can't remember the name of him because I don't have it in front of me. Where someone on YouTube commented that, why do you minus it down to -10 when introducing the teams? And they then complain about, well, I don't complain. I suppose it's just become some sort of like habit of saying it. Let's plus things up to speed 2 because let's face it and all that stuff. I don't know why. It's just become a force of habit. But anyway, that was enough mumbo jumbo nonsense for me. We're gonna focus on what's happening actually. Now we can see though that White Owl has managed to get a air factory online actually, so I've been mistakenly seen here wrong here unless he changed his build order. And he managed to get a scout out but paused the production here though, but he's going to be able to see everything in ITER's base. And now we see that 2 Auroras are coming in and taking out the farm actually, so this part of the map, the western part of the map, will now be completely open for ITER's expansion, unless we can see now White Owl is sending some more units. Sorry, I was biting my tongue when I was sniffing in. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I don't question it. Oh, now we see it. Yeah, I can see that. The autogun is firing against White Owl and pushing him a little bit back here. And now they are starting to get a little bit down to the middle here. So at the 4-minute mark, we are closing it down to +0. So on the eastern frontier, where the 4 main mexes are, ITER is now building his mass extractors, and as what we can see, White Owl, it has been sending scouts over here, so White Owl can see there's not a lot going on here for ITER so far, and White Owl is changing fire to fire at the point defense, but there's a small bump here, so White Owl actually missed the eruptor there. But he's taking a little bit of fire here now. White Owl has taken a little bit more fire than ITER. And there are a few Auroras there standing here though. So, but this is western part is what will be interesting to see though. Now I would love to see some more engineers popping out of this area. And there's no one building on this small mass extractor here. So, ITER, please get your game in the game. My brain just melted there for a second. I didn't really recognize what I was saying there, so pardon me on that part. The scout to White Owl is just very nicely relaxing in the back here. And now we see that ITER has managed to get a Tech 2 mass extractor online. What do we see in the base of White Owl? He looks like he's going for quite a lot of spam, and he is getting the air factory online. And he's starting to produce interceptors. I would perhaps, since he can scout ahead and see that, well, he hasn't any sort of anti-air capabilities except for land. If he built a Seraphim bomber, he could do quite a lot of damage, taking out a lot of Auroras and engineers here. So in that regard, I would say perhaps a little bit cautious build planning and unit production from White Owl, but he probably has a plan already. He wants to perhaps make sure that he has absolute dominance of the air game. But now White Owl is doing a little bit of harassment with his own commander, but is taking quite a lot of eruptor fire here, and is still a little bit lower in health than ITER. And now we see though that White Owl has been managed to push back ITER's small contingency of units on the western flank, but so far it seems that both commanders are content in staying at the right flank in the eastern part where the 4 mexes are. And now we see though that the 2 mass extractors have been taken out, and now we see that the Zui is coming in and going to attack hopefully the eruptor so that the units can get in. But as I was saying, that the eruptor took those artillery units out. Well, that one Zui. Sorry. Okay, so now we see actually that a bomber is out for ITER. So ITER is getting the right idea in that regard, but now there are quite a lot of interceptors though. So he's not really doing too much with it. I would love to see some more action in that regard. It looks like White Owl has been playing more ladder matches in that sense than ITER, but globally I'm not too sure their rankings. It would be most interesting if I could get to learn their rankings from you gentlemen. That would be most interesting indeed. So far the mass reclaim actually is about 1400 for White Owl, and ITER is about 1400 himself. Now then, so far it's a little bit of a stalemate as each player is trying to get the units up and running, and this part of the map here prevents any sort of units from doing flanking maneuvers, so they only have to focus on protecting the right flank and the left flank. So far we see a point defense online here for White Owl with some THAMs protecting it in case some, artillery decides to pop up. So far we see a lot of Auroras resting in the middle of the base. Some bombers now going to move out, it would seem. And there is a move order here for these bombers. Not too sure what... No, that's a scout. My mistake indeed. So far ITER seems to be able to build up his forces along this side here. But now we see a bomber is coming in. It will be able to drop his bomb off, and there we go, going straight for the Raptor. Lovely that, lovely that. There is a conservator here, and I would love to have seen White Owl been sending his interceptors to protect his bombers if he were to use them at all. But as it is right now, the bomb was taken out and the Raptor is still standing. So far I would love to see a sort of gun upgrade or something on one of the commanders, because on a map like this would be fantastic to just have. I mean, Seraphim, oh, I gotta say, I got a recent love for Seraphim. I mean, I've lost several matches with the Seraphim, but don't get me wrong, but it's so fantastic. I mean, if it had been for my mistakes of overextending with my commander, I would have crushed everyone when I had the Seraphim commander, and that would have just been very fantastic indeed. And the point defense here at the western part of White Owl's forward position has been taken out, and now the mass extractors are threatened indeed. We see Tech 2 though for White Owl, and he's going to get Ilshivers online, so if you can get an Ilshiver spam out, that would be lovely to see. But the mass wise, he is doing 1 T2. Where's the T2? Where is that? Where's the blaster thing? Oh, there we go. There we are. Take 2 mass extractor indeed. He's doing actually surprisingly well in a form of reclaim. And ITER is doing well as well. So my voice seemed to crack a little bit. And now we see White Owl standing quite still here, but I would love to see some movement from him. And we see a lot of THAMs coming in to protect White Owl, but needs to fall back because ITER is heavily more in the health than White Owl. He just needs to follow him now and do quite a lot of damage because... wait a minute, I was speaking too fast now. Ilshivers are coming in, but do they have access to overcharge? ITER has access to... ITER has access to overcharge, but does White Owl have it? No, he does not. So I would love to see some energy storage for White Owl. Then that could prove to be very useful indeed. But now White Owl is pushing on the left side here, so that is very well indeed. Now he needs to get engineers down here to reclaim, because that's a lot of mass for White Owl to reclaim. And if he can get more Tech 2 land factories online, just reclaim all of this, that could be beautiful indeed. But now we see that ITER is sending out his units quite forward here now, but sending in an overcharge and taking out a FAM and the Ilsheva. So far, this could be very bad indeed for ITER if he does not consolidate his forces, because these Ilshevas are coming in here, but they're standing still and not attacking the Auroras though. I'd love to see some sort of attack pattern from them though, because if you can take out these Auroras, the main base is not that much of a threat. But do we see some sort of point defense being built in the middle of the base? No, but he has a lot of power though, so far he would be doing okay. This Ilsheva is managing to take out the Aurora, so fantastic indeed. He has 2 racks of veterancies and getting increased health indeed. And now, if these engineers can just start reclaiming this, he can get some more reclaim. He has 2 Ilshevas standing here though. If you can keep them apart so that the overcharge cannot take both of them out, he can do quite a lot of damage to ITER. But White Owl needs to be careful because he doesn't have access to overcharge. He needs to be very careful indeed. And the same goes to ITER though. ITER has 1 rank of veterancy though, so he's getting a little bit extra regen. And White Owl needs to remember, there we go, fantastic micro there away from the artillery shell, popping down there. And let's see though, we have Ilsheva standing over here, and that's a lot of Auroras though. If you try to micro a little bit, you could do some more damage, and doing half 50% damage on that mass extractor. And we have an Oblivion turret here trying to fire down into the ground and trying to fire over at these things over here. And I love this kind of thing, like clumping up together, that looks like this sort of like completion of power generators. I really love the building structures over here. It looks like a small settlement. It's very nice and cozy indeed. Now though, if you manage to set these apart, so that yes, the overcharge cannot be completed indeed, fantastic. Just keep damaging ITER. That is fantastic micro from White Owl indeed. And now, it's still the kind of thing like the right flank is under control of ITER and White Owl controls the left flank, but it's a very loose thing here. But now we see that, thank heavens above, White Owl is reclaiming shit. But how's he doing on the reclaim value though? So far we see that 2,200 mass reclaimed and about this. No, sorry, 3,500 mass for White Owl and about 2,000 mass for ITER. What is he doing though? Is he trying to upgrade his commander? I would love to see an upgrade on his commander. So far there's only 3 Tech 1 land factories. There are some engineers here, some scouts, a lot of interceptors not being used. I would love to see these air units being used. Oh, sorry, that was a bit of an interesting development in the camera movement. But we got 2 land factories though producing Ilshevas at a rapid pace. 3 of them over here though. I would try to focus a bit more on the right flank, but that is me though. And my tactics, not exactly the best sometimes. But if White Owl could just get some gun upgrade on his commander, I would love to see that, because I mean, Seraphim are bred for war. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing they're bred for. I mean, most of the units are more expensive, but they're so delicious. I mean, you know, so paper thin armor that you can just do whatever you want with them, and they won't really do much. But do we still see no overcharge? We still see no overcharge for White Owl. And now there's a little bit of lag here. But we have a nice overcharge here for ITER, but he's quite low in energy though, so he doesn't have access to it at the current moment, even though he has storage. And if you're now pushed with these Ilshevas on the right flank here, he could have done quite a lot of damage to ITER here, but now a lot of units are posing quite a big threat here if he doesn't do a lot to it. These 2 Ilshevas will be able to push out the front, so if White Owl can get the engineers over here to reclaim, that's going to be a lot of mass though. I've been recently watching the video like, here are true facts about the owl. The owl are nocturnal predators and they are very fast. I don't have the voice for it though, but I really love the true facts about the owls video on YouTube. It's very funny, I gotta say I love it. And the range of the Auroras seems to be doing very good here, as ITER is doing some good micro there with his Auroras, pulling them back away from the units. But now White Owl is moving forward, but his units are way over here though, and I would love to see these units try to assist him as more units are coming in though. But now he's taking quite a lot of fire. Hey, he needs to get his butt out of there, trying to get off, but he doesn't have access to overcharge yet. Do we see access to overcharge? No, no access to overcharge, and that's a lot of units now posing quite a lot of threat. He needs to micro more because he's taking a whole lot of fire here from all of these artillery shells. He needs to get to move on. He needs to get your bloody butt out of there. Don't start. Right, you don't have time for this, you bloody white owl. Yes, you're a white owl. Get out of there, you racist bastard. Come on, get out of there, There we go. Okay. But do we see more units? Oh, they're all converging fire on white owl indeed. No, don't fall back, you fool. Oh, there we go. At the end of 15 minutes and 20 seconds, White Owl has been taken out by ITER after a superb push from ITER indeed. And sadly, that marked the end of for White Owl. So, that, gotta say, it was quite an interesting match. And in the end, ITER turned out to be the one victorious and he emerged from the mushroom cloud of that explosion. It is a mushroom cloud, isn't it? Sort of. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here now. So, thank you guys for watching this. If you like this video, press that like button. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.